Hey, it's Gina at Tarot and Time in Connecticut. I'm here to give you a tarot and astrology reading for the week ahead of May 30th through June 5th. So I want to talk to you this week about self-care. And, it's always a theme that I talk about, but it's especially important this week as there's so much sadness in the world. I know most of us have probably spent a lot of time crying this week. I hope that you turn the news off and limit your media intake as much as you can, especially during Gemini season, because Gemini rules the mind, the thoughts. And so we know we're in Mercury retrograde, kind of looking at those pathways that our brain goes down. And sometimes we can just get caught in overstimulation, sadness, worry, all of that stuff. So I want to kind of hone back into how we can get our power back. I know myself, I've been crying a lot this week, and now it's time to gather back energy so that I can personally move forward with my soul's mission, and you can too. We all came here for a reason. We came here to learn things. In astrology, we often look at your North Node placement to see what it is that your contract is. And so getting back to being the change that we can be in the world for the better. I'm working with the High Priestess card this week because she called to me. She is the energy of the divine feminine. She is the energy of all your female ancestors, all of that nurturing. It has a lot to do with the relationship with yourself. It's card number 2. It's ruled by the moon. So it's our intuition, it's our nurturing, it's the mothering energy. And I know as a mother, being very distraught through what's been going on in our world, grieving it, and I'm not leaving you men out. I know that you're feeling it too. So I kind of gather together the High Priestess energy here to help us through. It's like all of our grandmothers, all those female relatives lining up to help bring the change into this world, allowing that to come in, that we need help right now, and we need a sense of safety, and we need to be caring for ourselves, all of us. There needs to be more care. So let's talk about the difference that we can make in general for ourselves that can reflect out to others. Because remember, Gemini rules your local community. It rules your environment, right? So the most control that we have is how we affect our immediate environment, how that pulsates out farther into our community and into the whole world. So I feel like that's where we have the power to make change. I encourage you to get involved as much as you can in your community. If that's just walking down the street and saying hello to people and spreading a little bit of joy. As small as you can go, as large as you can go. Okay, we need it extra right now. And I did a little pre-reading before this just to get a little idea of what the message is that really needs to come through. I've got the Queen of Wands first off, who is very dynamic, queen energy, fire queen energy, to continue to make magic, not to let your energy dissipate out, gather it back in so you can make change. I've got the 8 of Swords, which definitely shows feeling helpless, worried, overwhelmed. And so I know for myself, when I think it's a tendency of trauma, people are overcoming trauma, is to take responsibility or to feel like, how could I be happy when others aren't, right? So kind of catching where we're having those kind of thoughts and seeing how we can gather ourselves back together so it just doesn't become an energy leak and then we're useless to everyone. Okay, I had a few other cards here, like the Ten of Pentacles, definitely having children, well-being, families on our mind. 7 of Cups, kind of not knowing where to start, what to do, what's true, what's not. We do have the 9 of Cups here, which made me happy to see that there's this treasure chest here that's opened. And I think of Saturn, which kind of rules our society, as that kind of energy. Saturn, the restriction, the rules. And yet here's the treasure chest open, and over time learning how to work with that energy for success and well-being, expansion of joy. And so that is where I see that we can try to make a difference in our everyday life. The cards kind of reiterated that to me. So we're going to talk more about the energy of the divine feminine, the energy of our emotions, how we can gather together energetically to bring change into the world so that we can feel better, we can feel safer, and we can be more in tuned with our own needs and that of the world too. Let's talk a little bit about astrology this coming week ahead. So a lot of the planets are really gathered together, okay? We've got 1, 2, 3 planets in the sign of Taurus, Earth energy. Venus just moved into Taurus, its own sign. So this is a beautiful time for Venus, for self-care, for self-love. It rules relationships, really savoring the beauty of our lives, all those simple moments, the flowers coming up, the beautiful meals that we get to have with our loved ones, and really appreciating our families. So we have that going on. We're going to have Mercury retrograde ending this week. Thank goodness. So we're going to be kind of going back over everything that's been going on since April 26th. It's going to go direct on Friday, the 3rd. So once it goes direct, it's going to be at the same degree that Mercury, the planet of communication, the planet that rules pathways, roadways, I think neural pathways, it's going to go direct. So it's going to go back over the time period from April 26th to now, so we get the final sweep through. So even though it's direct, I still want you to pay attention to what's going on. So I have in my calendar written down some themes of what's happened, and now I'm going to watch the re-sweep over. And that gives you a good journaling prompt to see what's going on, to really dive deep into what you really need to know. Because I feel like during a Mercury retrograde, I often receive really great information or a new take on something. Okay, so think of it as something positive, and then that period's going to move out. We're going to move really fully into Gemini season, which is such a playful sign, and just being careful not to. Sometimes Gemini. I have a Gemini moon, and I think sometimes we can really feel a lot, and we can get out of balance and get very nervous, or sometimes we can almost disassociate. So we want to make sure that we're not disassociating from the pain of the world in such a way that we act like it doesn't exist, because I just don't think that's fair to anyone. So we have the sun in Gemini, but we still have a few planets back there in Aries, okay? And so we know that Aries is very close to Jupiter right now. And so that means Jupiter likes to expand things, likes to make things bigger, right? So we know that Mars is very close conjunct with Jupiter, okay? They're both in the sign of Aries that Mars rules, okay? So Aries is really the god of war. It can be very aggressive, or it can be very forward thinking. It can be very creative, right? Aries is a cardinal sign that pushes forward the spring season. So there's a lot of dynamic energy behind that. So we want to use that energy wisely. We want to use it for creativity, for passion, for change in a positive way, non-aggressive way. Okay. And so, but knowing that Mars is there next to Jupiter, it's going to make whatever Mars is doing bigger. So be very careful with your actions this week. So many of us are outraged and upset about the way things are in this world. But if you go in with that anger, it's just going to get bigger, and it's going to get fierier, and it's going to get more aggressive. And that's not going to help anyone. And we have Chiron, soul's wound point, right there next to Mars too. So there's a lot of deep, deep issues, and we do not want to take aggressive action, right? We want to take well thought out, positive action. That's what this world needs. We have enough with erratic behavior. Neptune is right there, right behind Mars and Jupiter, just a couple degrees back. So it's going to bring in, it wants to help heal. It wants to help bring in creative, beautiful energy, but it also is very foggy and can be deceiving. So you may be angry about something, you may take action about something, and then you may be surprised later what the reality of the situation actually was. So please take this time to write down, review things that have been going on. use the playfulness of Gemini. It's a great time for journaling. It's a great time for writing. It's a great time for thinking about your life and what you want and reflecting and listening. But it's not a great time to argue, fight, or try to get your point across. Okay, so let's remember that we have Mercury in Taurus, although it'll just be there for a short time and it's going to move into Gemini again, its own sign. So I would say this is a good week to kind of take it slow, non-aggressive. By the weekend, the moon is going to be in Leo, so it's going to be really fiery. One of my suggestions was, it's going to be moody, choose passion, show up with flowers, bearing gifts, and be gentle, because there's a lot of squares this week. We've got Pluto squaring Venus, we've got Neptune squaring the moon, and Chiron squaring the moon, all sorts of squares, okay? We still have Saturn squaring Mercury. And so there's just a lot of energy, okay? So we can use it for something positive, where it can help us just kind of skim away the things that don't work anymore, or we can be butting heads, and it's not gonna go well because it can start small and then it can get bigger, okay? So choose passion. I would suggest this week is a good, like I said, to be writing, to be reflecting, to be getting busy in your local community, to be spreading joy and love and hope, but not to be fighting. And so take it slow this week. We start off with the new moon on Monday. I want you to make some wishes about the change in the world that we need to see and the change in your own world that you need to see. Okay, get your moon water out there. There's a moon water video on YouTube if you need directions. By Wednesday, by the time you wake up on Wednesday morning, the moon will move into Cancer. So it's going to be emotional. Cancer is moody. I'm a Cancer rising. I get to say this. We're moody, but we're intuitive, right? We need to feel safe. This is a good week to self-care, to get a massage, to eat some good food, to relax, to be with people you love, maybe to spend time with some of the female energy in your family, but not if you're going to fight. So maybe go to the nail salon together, or take a little picnic together. Keep it simple, choose love, choose passion, come bearing gifts, keep it simple. Be grateful that Mercury retrograde is moving forward. Be grateful that some of these planets are going to start moving more out of Aries, more towards Taurus, Gemini, and we can kind of get a little bit more settled and a little bit more moving forward with our ideas and a little less combative energy, okay? So for pile number 1, I have the High Priestess, the peony plant here. This is from the Herbal Tarot, and this is pile number 1 along with this beautiful quartz crystal. Clear quartz. Pile number 2 from the Ethereal Visions deck is the High Priestess here in gold. The moon here. She's ruled by the moon. And we have this beautiful moose with it. Okay. And then pile number 3, the High Priestess from the Animal Totem, is the Black Widow. Okay. And of course, I pulled out one of my little Halloween spiders. So go ahead, pick your pile, and let's get started. Pile number 1, the High Priestess peonies, the Divine Feminine. I love peonies. They're one of my favorite flowers. So delicate, so like heavy, and they stand up and they're just so delicate and gorgeous. So peony, High Priestess, Divine Feminine, and I like that her eyes are covered because her power is within. It's through her feelings and emotions. So trusting those messages that we're receiving, okay? We're sticking with the theme of self-care. Now, I also paired this up with a Queen of Cups card, and I chose this Queen of Emotions from the Muse Tarot. And I really like this because it's like she's so connected underwater, and then up here, this woman walking on the beach. And I feel like this is almost like all those the divine feminine energy, all those women in your bloodline, all of that support that you don't always realize is there. And it's just under there, holding up your world. So tapping into that, tapping into the energy of mothers in general, and asking for help right now, because we certainly need it. So let's see what you need to know this week ahead. Self-care for yourself through these hard times, what you need to know, okay? We're starting off with the Devil card, which is called the Shadow Side in the Switches Tarot. Okay, this is one of the cards of the year, and it's very intense. It really feels like it brings up those safety issues. It brings up all those fears that are there, really putting them into our face, really exposing it. Not easy to see, not easy to feel, okay? Knowing that because the Devil card is card number 16 in tarot, or I'm sorry, 15, 1 and 5 equals 6, and we know in numerology this is a 6 year. So this is a year of the Lovers card and the Devil card. So a lot about our choices, our thoughts, our commitments, and where we're kind of like tied to still, where we're feeling fear and guilt and shame, and what needs to come into the light out of the darkness. So that was what we're starting off with. Let's see what the heart of the matter here is. We have the 2 of Pentacles. Okay, kind of weighing things back and forth, but that's forming an infinity loop, right? The 8. So it seems like you can be really caught up in this like safety and fear, and just kind of go looping back and forth through it. How do we juggle this? How do we handle this? And so that's coming up in the heart position, that there may be some exhaustion from that. But the idea of tapping into this feminine energy, knowing that you're not alone. You know, sometimes I feel very alone because my mom's passed and most of my relatives are passed. Connecting with that there's still this pulsating energy here that we can tap into. It's just a little bit different than our everyday living kind of interactions, right? So kind of feeling held up and trying to just have conversation with these feminine energies around us, these women that are there kind of holding us up. So I'm encouraging you to have those conversations, ask for those conversations. The new moon is a great time to do that, stating your wishes, stating what you would like to receive. And I would like to personally receive comfort from my female ancestors. I'm open to my paternal or masculine ones too, but I'm really feeling the women this week, because we're usually the ones that tend to the children, tend to the needs of the family traditionally, especially when you're talking about your ancestors. And so much has changed now, and it's beautiful to see that that role is being filled by many men also, which I'm all for. So any energy, whether it be male or female, anything that's nurturing to you, kind of calling that in, that support, okay? Remembering that the clear quartz was the stone here. I've been working with clear quartz a lot lately, and there's something very beautiful about it, very clearing, very, it's always clear. It can take anything, and yet it can clear it. I love that. Okay, let's see what's supporting your heart. We have the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, so she's kind of weighing things back and forth, but here's like almost like that truth, knowing what you need to do, making decisions and going with them. We can only make our best decisions. That's all we can do. Now the foundation of the matter here is the 10 of Swords, but this is from the Modern Witch Tarot, and it says everything is fine. Okay, so this kind of goes back to like, yeah, you're watching me on YouTube, but get off social media, get off your phone sometimes. It's too much. We're not meant to know everything that goes on everywhere. That's not what naturally we came into this world as humans to have, right? Now we're just inundated with information. It's Gemini season. It's air energy. It rules that communication. It rules the environment that we're in. And when a Gemini gets out of balance, and like I said, I'm a Gemini moon, have to be very careful, because we can just get overwhelmed and we can get nervous and we can get anxiety, right? So trying to catch these triggers before it gets to that point, okay? Calming yourself down, getting off your phone, not being ignorant or naive to what's going on in the world, but limiting the time that you spend filling yourself with that, because you need to be recharged in another way. You're being topped with the Devil card and bottomed with the Ten of Swords, okay? It's a lot. Now, we came through all these eclipses where it was intense. We were going through a lot of Scorpio, and there was a lot of healing going on. And so right now, Gemini season kind of wants us to have a little bit more fun. And it's hard to do that when we have an energy leak going on, when we're tapped out emotionally, when we're tapped out, when our mind is overwhelmed with information. So turn it down, limit it, get back into your groundedness of your body. Maybe a clear quartz is something good that you can keep with you. This is a good sized chunk, but maybe you just need a little one in your pocket. Helps clear negativity. And I find it very charging too. I find it very charging. And this will be good. I'll put some of these out on the new moon to charge up again. So, okay, let's see what's going on in the background. You've got the King of Swords. He would be a Gemini king. King of communication, big business in the background here, along with the Two of Wands with the World in her hand. Okay, she looks, I don't know, she looks a little tired to me, but. So back in the background, all this information, and then the whole world in her hand. So it just kind of feels like, we want to just kind of hold that world close to our heart and make it good. And we can envision ourselves doing that, but we only have so much control, okay? But we have control over the media that we take in. We have the Seven of Wands here. We need to stay powerful. We need to keep our energy to ourselves so that we can make this change happen in this world. We need to gather together to make the positive change happen. So we need to get up out of our crying, out of our grieving, and get back to our strength. Where can we make these differences? What can we do? And sometimes I don't even know what we can do, but I ask, please show me. What can I do to help? There's the Three of Swords. This is from the After Tarot. It's like a minute after the original Rider-Waite pictures. The wound is starting, it's still raw. Okay, and it's there. Interesting that both of these are hearts. Okay, this one's kind of getting its power back, reconnecting, getting its strength back. And this is the wound is healing. Now, let's not let this wound heal that we just forget, but there's something here where we got to get it back, get our energy back, and then move forward with change, okay, with making a difference here. And I feel this energy of the divine feminine there pulsating in the background, wanting to help, knowing that it's a powerful force. We are that powerful force, whether we're male or female. We were born through that energy, and we need to gather ourselves together. Now I've got a lovely self-care oracle deck here, and I really like this one. We sell it in our shop. So we're going to pull a few cards about how to care for yourself this week. Now, one thing I can tell you is that because the planets are like really close, okay, and it depends on your chart which house it's hitting, but it's not equal all around. So you might find some things are very intense in some areas of your life, okay? A lot in Taurus, wherever Taurus lands in your chart. Aries, okay? That's where most of the planets are. And then the moon is kind of circling around. At some points, the moon will be kind of opposite all that consolidated energy, okay? So it's going to be moody. It's definitely going to be moody. But that's okay. There's a power in moods. There's a power in emotions. There's a power of knowing through our feelings. Let me pull a few self-care. We'll do some charms and some dice. How can you best care for yourself this week? Got 2 cards here. I'm going to roll some dice first. Got Mars and Sagittarius in the 7th house. Okay, Mars, how you take action. It's written as a symbol of male, okay? It's together with Jupiter. Make it bigger. And so you rolled Mars and Sagittarius, both fiery, in the 7th house of relationships, okay? So this could be, let's see, Mars, Sagittarius, kind of bigger picture. It's ruled by Jupiter. Mars and Jupiter are together. So you want to be really careful in your relationships. This is a good time to start thinking about action that you may take later. This is a good time to start thinking about a trip that you might want to take later, although I would not book anything until after retrograde. So June 3rd, it goes out, and then I would give it a little bit, few days after the shadow period. But if you can't wait, at least wait till June 3rd when it goes direct. Start thinking about joy and love and compassion and nurturing in your relationships. What actions you need to take to bring more joy, to expand your relationship, to make it better. Sagittarius is related to foreign travel. So there's something there about that, but also just being aware there's a fiery, okay? Your self-care, we have music. Isn't it Bob Marley that said music will always rescue me? Drums, tambourine, so beautiful. What a shift just music can make, right? So we have that for one of your self-cares. And then we have journaling. And, you know, journaling doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be tons of writing, although that's great if you can. But journaling sometimes can just be little things like, what happened this day? A couple sentences. What happened that day? Because it's going to come in handy during periods like retrograde, where you can really see, what was the theme here? What was really going on? What was I really supposed to be reviewing, right? I'm still working on my little list to see what the theme was, but there was an interesting period. A lot happened. A lot of positive things too, not just all negative. Okay, so let's see a few more cards. Anything else you need to know? I'm going to go with this Modern Witch. Anything else that pile 1 here needs to know for the week ahead? 2 of Swords. The Fool. Okay, 2 of Swords. Sit with it, especially in relationships, because you rolled Libra, relationships. So, you know, Gemini, us Geminis, we don't always think before we speak. We don't always think before we jump into things, especially love. So this 2 of Swords, she's like crossed and she has her eyes blindfolded. Interesting that the High Priestess also has her eyes blindfolded. This is a time to go inward. So some of my astrology forecast advice was like, let's not really make big decisions, or let me look back at my forecast here. You know, save the serious conversations for later. Things are low. There's too many squares. There's too much retrograde. There's a lot of fire. I would save the important conversations for later. Try to find a little joy. Try to take some downtime to really go within, to think about the things that you've learned through retrograde. And then a little later, maybe next week or the week after, start having those more serious conversations, okay? You can have them with yourself. Here's the Fool that's ready for a fresh new start, new journey, and a little bit carefree. This is a good time to walk in the woods and reconnect with nature. This kind of, it clears us, right? We need clearing, right? There's just too much coming at us. So, but also not being foolish in our decision making, okay? So, what else? I'm going to do some charms. Some letters. I'm also going to do, I have one other oracle deck that I was going to use. And I think I used it last week. It's called Oracle of Mystical Moments. I really like the pictures in here, so I'm going to give you one of those and we'll see what we've got going on here. Protective nest. Interesting. We're talking about Cancer energy, High Priestess energy, ruling the home, wanting to feel safe. Look at that, protective nest. Very interesting. Okay, so right first off, we have this punching glove. Things are combative. Let's not get into it. Got a cactus, which is prickly, right? And this is a basket with a bottle of wine in it. And I was saying, come bearing gifts this week. Everybody loves a present. Show up with gifts. We've got the moon and a tree of life. I have a candlestick here, which is kind of cool. An American flag and a rolling pin. So I was saying stuff about maybe this is a good week to nurture, because the moon's going to be in Cancer most midweek. And so Cancer, Cancer energy wants to cook you a good meal, or maybe it's a good week to do some baking, right? And to just kind of enjoy those simple flavors, or lighting a candle, how beautiful that is, right? I have the word smell here, so I can smell that pie baking. I've got a hot air balloon here too. Okay, so just, this says title on it. Let's not get into any fights or arguments, please. All right, let's see what we've got here. For letters, I'm looking for names. I'm looking for initials. I've got the word brass. And I have the word, I have salt. Let's see. Yep, I have salt. And I have another S. Let's see. I've got the word James, the name James, and A-B-O. Abbott, James Abbott. And some initials here, A-O-I. I've got an L here. I'm just gonna leave the L over there. Okay, I'm gonna take a picture of this. You can see if this applies to you at all. Brass, James, salt, kind of almost spelling the word Abbott. And I've got A-O and I. Stay calm, savor the beauty of your life, be grateful for what you have. Feel compassion for others to move you to help bring change in this world. But get off your phone, get off the social media, limit, enjoy your nest, your nurturing, recharge yourself so that you can help be the change that we need in this world. Pile number 2, this beautiful High Priestess from the Ethereal Visions Tarot deck. The Divine Feminine in gold. I love her. And I have the moose here as your animal totem. Oh, I didn't realize on the back it says, I am visionary. Very cool. Okay, and then I also chose a secondary card that I consciously chose here, the Queen of Cups, and it's the moose. Okay, the Queen of Emotions. I think it's really cool that the moose is the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Emotions, and it has her swimming. And who thought that a moose could swim? They can. I guess they can hold their breath and everything. So it's almost amazing the depth of what this feminine energy can do. I think that's really cool. And I have a very strong attachment to moose. I consider them to be my spirit animal. And at some point, I will be releasing a short story about it. It's not quite done yet. But I did have an interesting experience with a moose when I was giving birth to my first child. I was living in a community up in Alaska. And I had an experience where a moose came and sat outside the little teepee that I was living in. Yes, there's going to be some interesting stories coming out soon. And so I was really, really missing my mother, and I was really alone up there. Not technically alone, but I felt alone. And I had this moose come and sit. Right after I had given birth, she came and sat with her calf outside the teepee I was living in. And she sat with me for a few days, and she actually kept a lot of people away from me, which at the time I really needed. I needed to be alone. I needed silence. And she sat there with her calf and I sat there with mine. And I didn't really realize the power of that story until a little bit later, and how she's represented here as this Queen of Cups, how she, what an unexpected creature she is. And I felt very loved through that period. So there'll be more information coming out about that little short story soon. But the power of a moose, the power of their height, their strength, the fact that they're vegetarians, that they can swim, so unlikely. But I'm really looking at it as the energy of the divine feminine, okay? And I felt like my heart was screaming I needed feminine support at that time. And there shows up this moose. And so I didn't really realize the amount of femininity that she represents. And so calling on that energy, calling on we need our mothers, our grandmothers, our great-grandmothers right now. We need help. We need to nurture this country differently. We need to watch out for the safety of our children differently than we are. And so without getting too political about it, just talking about connecting with that divine feminine energy to help us through these times and to give us advice, almost like giving us parenting advice, okay? So let's get right into your reading here. I've not looked at any of these cards this week ahead. This very, very intense week ahead, okay? There's a lot of squares and stuff going on, so it's a really good time to take it easy, connect with yourself more, and when you do connect with others, come bearing gifts, as I was saying. Here's the Judgment card starting you off. It's card number 20 of the major arcanas. It's related to Scorpio. It has to do with kind of the dead rising up, releasing something, properly burying something, right? And we're dealing with like a lot of death in this world. We're dealing with a lot of deep emotion and our relationship to it. The heart of the matter, we have the Hermit. So you're starting off with two major arcanas. I love that in this modern tarot deck, she is taking a peek at her computer, right? But the Hermit, I think of the Hermit as Virgo. It's ruled by Mercury. And so it's communication. Hermit has to do with like searching for your truth, searching for your wellness, what brings you wellness, and really getting off the internet as I'm promoting my YouTube reading. Limiting the information that you're taking in. Limiting your relationship with this overstimulation of media. Okay, that's coming up in the heart of the matter. Supporting the heart of the matter is this beautiful, what is it? 4 of Wands. And like I said, my advice was to, if you're going to engage with others this week, bring flowers, bring presents, bring joy into people's lives, okay? It'll help kind of mellow down some of the intensity this week. I would be wearing pastel colors this week, lighter colors to keep it simple, because there's a lot of fire, especially by the weekend, okay? Because when that moon moves into Leo. Now, Leo, it rules passion, it rules fun, it rules childlike joy of the heart, but it also rules drama. And so watch a good movie, read a good book, avoid the drama of Leo. So keep that in mind over the weekend. That's why bringing gifts, kind of win-win, right? Your foundation card is the Knight of Wands. Very fiery, very fun. Not always long-term fun, but there's some fun there. And so enjoying where the fun is, not kind of holding on to it, that it's going to always be there, but this is going to be a very dynamic weekend. So make it passionate, but don't fight. Here's the 10 of Pentacles in the background. I think of 10 of Pentacles as like the family over time built up, and that's so on our minds right now. Here's the Hierophant in the background, asking you to connect higher. You know, I learned to pray through growing up as a Jehovah's Witness, but now I need to learn the new ways that work to connect, right? Because that doesn't work for me anymore, but I can take those bits and pieces and put together and connect higher, because there has to be something higher, right? And so this is asking you to question that. This is asking you to change up your beliefs, to update them to work for you. And it's a card of expansion and growth. Moving into the forward position, you have the Page of Wands, young energy, going out on an adventure, and the Six of Wands, 6 being the number of the year, really moving forward triumphantly. So basically what I'm getting here is there's a lot of deep emotion you're moving through. And it doesn't always feel helpful, and it doesn't always feel like it's a good thing, but it is. And you're learning how to connect with your deeper self, with your inner guide, connecting with your guides. Interesting that the moose is here. Yes, I did choose it. But that's like one of my guides, right? And it helped me through a very hard period of my life. And so paying attention for your guides, and especially the ones that are on the other side that are related to you, especially women, okay, with the High Priestess there. So, or anyone who wants to help nurture, who may have some advice for you. And so if you're open to that kind of thing, this is the time to ask for that information to come to you in the most gentle way possible, right? We're coming up upon this new Gemini moon on Monday, the 30th. So this is a great time for wishes, okay? Gemini is ruled by Mercury, a planet of communication. So this is a great time to ask for what you want, ask for who you want to connect with. It's there for you, okay? Let me see on that note if anything wants to show itself of what is there for you to connect with. I'm going to use this oracle called Oracle of Mystical Moments. Really digging that one lately. Any guides that want to show up or show you? Okay. Change of seasons. And keys on trees. Interesting. It's a weird card. Looks like a cake almost. An elephant on top. So there's keys on trees. So there's like the ability to open up some information that may not have always been there. Change of seasons. I'm going to use a different deck. Any more guides that want to show themselves to you now? Four of Swords and the Six of Pentacles. Okay, see if you get anything from this. Four of Swords and the Six of Pentacles. Okay, but it's almost like it's like something of value is being dropped into you. Keys on trees. Information is starting to be available. Doors are opening for you. There's change of seasons. There's change. Change of seasons is like that cardinal energy that pushes in. Interesting that this would be like considered like a cardinal. So I'm feeling like masculine vibes from this too, not just the feminine ones. So you see what comes through for you on that one. Okay, let's pull a few more cards. Let's pull some self-care oracle cards to see how to best take care of yourself this week ahead. One more. Okay. Connect with fire. Okay, so that could be a candle, that could be a bonfire, if that works for you, if it's safe for you to burn a bonfire where you live, that might be something good. But just remember, there's a lot of fire energy in general, so it might just be connecting with that passionate energy that's available right now. So using it for positivity, using it to start to like launch projects, get ideas out, written down, get things ready, start planning, connect with fire to move things forward. So even if you just connect with candles, that could be good. And yeah, family is really healthy for you right now, and I really felt that feminine energy around. So just really enjoying, really loving your family. She's got the moon up on the top of her head here. Very high priestessy, okay? So call in the ancestors, the grandmothers, connect with them, maybe do it around a candle, see what you need to know. Shut off media as much as possible. Have some fun. Know that you need to have fun in your human experience. I know others are suffering, but you need to contain your energy so that you can use it to make change in the world, okay? Interesting, these like dropping change into your hands. Okay, I want to pull a couple more things because I feel like I might have missed something. Anything else that you need to know this week ahead? I've got the 10 of Cups, which is also like the happy family card, and the Fool, which is interesting. That came up for the last pile too as the last card. So here's the 10 of Cups. Joy, enjoying, savoring your family, the joy that you have, not taking it for granted. And then here's the Fool, ready for the leap of faith, the new journey, the moving forward. Like I said, it was interesting that the moose here, I didn't ever see the back said, I am a visionary. And a visionary is what Aquarius is. And this is an Aquarian card. So this is thinking about the bigger picture, right? The future of this world, how we can make a difference, how we can bring change, right? But then also just kind of enjoying and savoring our personal joys, our little families, shutting down the media so we can harness our energy back. Okay, I'm going to roll some dice for you. Saturn, Virgo, 9th house. Okay, Saturn's making a lot of squares this week. It's square Mercury all week. So Saturn, kind of the rules, kind of like that family energy of like, this is how we've always done things. Virgo wants to be detailed. And 9th house is Sagittarius's house. So maybe really looking at the rules that you hold yourself to, kind of sorting through the details, how it affects your health and well-being. And the 9th house connecting higher. Sagittarius, you had the Hierophant card there. So it's almost like praying, or whatever your version of prayer is. Sending good vibes out into your family, into your community, pulsating out into the world to bring the change that we need. Remember, Saturn is in the sign of Aquarius right now to bring the change that we need into this world for the future. All right, I'm going to do a few letters. Looking for names, looking for initials. See what words pop up, and I'm going to use a few charms. Okay, we have a sun up at the very top, so really shining bright, joy, the heart. We've got an anchor here, wanting you to get really grounded. We've got an angel wing here. It's talking about connecting with ancestors. I forget which stone this is, but it's one of those black grounding stones. Could be hematite, or I'm slipping, shungite maybe. I've got blue moon, and a hot air balloon, and a boat, like a ship, like a battleship here. Okay, I've got the word Mr., M-R, that fell over the 4 of Swords, and the word came, and the word you. So it's almost like when I was talking about ancestors, it's like, no, there is a masculine energy that showed up right now, almost like dad energy with the Saturn here. Just gonna pull one card for that, if there's any, who that Mr. is. The Hierophant again. Your inner guide, your higher power. And it's funny because this is a woman as the Hierophant, which you only see in the modern tarot, really. That's not true. I've seen a few yoga teachers in there as a Hierophant as women. But there's almost like this energy shift, women in power. Definitely need more of that. Okay, let's see what we've got over here for words. I've got a W and a Z and an F. And I've got the word feel. And I've got the word day. also, do I have a T? No. I have the word green. Definitely getting outside is going to make you feel better, right? It's going to ground you. It's going to help clear out some negativity. Let's see what else we have. Any more words here? I have the word ponder. Ponder. I thought I had the word ponder. Do I have the word ponder? The word ran. All right, maybe I don't have the word ponder. I thought I did. Okay. So maybe taking a run, enjoying the day, trying to focus on feeling good, irregardless or regardless, whatever the right way is to say that. Regardless of what's going on in the world. And again, we don't want to just like separate out and then not feel, because we need to feel so we can make change. We also need to feel good and recover our energy so that we can help make that change. So get out into nature, enjoy it, have a good time, take a run if that's appropriate for you, burn some energy off so you can avoid arguing and you can focus on your joyful life. Have a great week ahead. Pile number 3, the Black Widow from the animal totem. This is the High Priestess. Oh yeah, no one's gonna mess with her. We've got this little spider here. Okay, this beautiful divine feminine. And I actually had chosen I consciously chose this card, another version of the High Priestess. In her power, going within, the information just pouring into her head, the feeling coming in, the guidance. Very beautiful. Okay, let's see what you need to know this week ahead, talking about self-care through hard times, this Gemini new moon, envisioning things that we want, making wishes about what we want, writing them down, getting our moon water out. If it's not already, get it out now. Here's the 9 of Pentacles, growing a garden, growing beauty, growing things of value, the simple joys, how recharging nature can be for us, especially when we're going through a lot, feeling a lot. She's actually harvesting carrots, which are root vegetables that help us stay grounded. Got the King of Cups here coming up in the heart of the matter. King of Emotions. Interesting how he's built like a barrier between him and the water so that he doesn't have to get overwhelmed with emotion. He's got to protect himself because it can just be too much. Supporting the heart of the matter, we have the 4 of, I think this is Swords from the Tattoo Tarot. Yeah, that sums up a lot of what I think we've been feeling. Just like so much anguish, so much sadness, overthinking. Here's the whole city down here, the world just affecting us so much. I hear you. It's also very Gemini too, because we can get very overstimulated. Your foundation card is the 7 of Swords. Okay, so 2 swords left behind. She's taking 5 swords with her to make change in this world, okay? So 2 is like this relationship behind. This can be the relationship with the sadness that you feel. This can be relationships that aren't working that you're leaving behind. And taking the 5 of Swords, a new way of thinking, change, moving forward. That's coming in on your foundation here. Now, behind the scenes, we have the 9 of Cups. It's definitely plenty. And I think sometimes we feel guilt about that we have it so made, but yet we're still, fear is just emanating, I feel like. We're just feeling it. We come through a pandemic. We've had all these extreme things happening. And so we want to kind of savor that we do have it, the goodness that we do have in our lives, the simple things like the garden, like the simple meal, the beauty, stepping away from these situations that don't align with you. It's been a continual message through this whole thing of limiting media, and kind of avoiding conflict again is this week. Like, you see the Black Widow, let's not engage, okay? Let's get really focused, grounded, get our power back, step away from the things that are tapping our power out, whether that be relationship or whether that just be the TV being on, okay? Here's the Chariot. In the background, the Chariot is about moving forward over obstacles, moving forward. And this one's rearing to go. The Chariot is ruled by the moon. Also, the High Priestess is ruled by the moon. It's card number 7. It's your spiritual path. It wants to pull you forward, okay? So, yes, you're grieving. You may be overthinking. You may be overstimulated. You need good boundaries. Savor what you have, let go of the guilt, move forward, bringing change into the world. Here's the Magician coming up in your future position. You have all the tools to create the life that you're looking to make. Interesting that there's like a dove here, peace dove. Envisioning change. Visioning things working, a new story starting. And here's the Star, which is also a card of healing, hope, shining brightly. I think the message across the board is about connecting higher, envisioning change, envisioning wellness, envisioning the age of Aquarius, being smarter, being more humanitarian efforts. We can't do it all ourselves, but we can sit in that energy and try to envision that happening. Getting ourselves grounded, stepping away from the thoughts that don't work. Let's see what else you need to know. These two are falling out. We've got the 8 of Pentacles. She's kind of polishing her pentacle there, right? Hard at work. You came here to this planet for a reason. You came here for a mission. Do not give up because things seem so overwhelming, okay? Get focused, get your clarity back, get grounded. And here's the 8 of Cups. And she's walking away from those cups. It looks like it's almost like a new moon there. There's some emotions that we just have to walk away from. It does not mean that we forget. It means that we protect our energy so that we can be of use. I'm going to pull a couple self-care cards for you this week, because self-care is really, really important all the time, but especially through hard times, okay? And sometimes we think, oh, well, nothing's happening to me personally. It's on the news, it's in the air, it's in our country, but it hurts us. It hurts us emotionally. And so we have to tend to ourselves. We have to get back to the earth. Got to get back to good meals, to grounding foods. Our diets in this country are not known to be that great. Let's get back to nature as much as we can. See what your self-care is for this week. Plan a vacation. And sound healing. I love the sound of singing bowls, and like the vibration of it, really changes things up for you. So just really trying to get your energy as like sharp as you can, bringing some joy in. I know it might not be the ideal time for travel, but maybe it's just a small trip. Maybe it's something simple, but you need to kind of step away, recharge, okay? And sound healing is a great way to recharge. There's a lot of good sound healing on YouTube. I know I told you to stay off the internet, but yeah, maybe play one of those, do a nice meditation, get yourself cleared out a little bit so you can stay focused, so you're not overwhelmed, okay? Roll some dice. We've got Pluto, Virgo, 9th house. Okay, Pluto, it rules Scorpio, it wants to bring change, death and rebirth, deep emotions. It's very intense in the sign of Virgo, which has to do with your health, right? Has to do with your service to society, your contribution. It's ruled by Mercury, so it has to do with thought and roadways and travel. 9th house is the bigger picture. It actually rules foreign travel too, so you did get this travel card there. So maybe there's some fears over that. Maybe you can just sort through that, sit with that, do some energy work, do some sound healing. I know there's a beautiful yoga place near us and that does gong meditations, right? The sound. Be Well Community Yoga in Canaan. I love their sound gong meditations. So if there's something like that near you, go, because that can just really, you get to rest, you lie down, you get to fall into a deep meditative state, and you can clear out some excess junk that's around us. And there's a lot of junk around us right now. So okay, I'm going to do a couple more cards and then we'll do some dice. We did the dice. We'll do some letters and some charms. Okay, so this is from the Oracle of Mystical Moments. I'm really digging this Oracle deck. And I'm going to pull a couple of these for you. That one's falling right out. This one says Ava. Almost reminds me of Eve from the Bible, but look at her. That's very interesting. She is definitely one with nature. And then we have Stranded. Look at that. Wow. That's pretty cool. Okay. I'm not sure what to make of those. Let me see. Do I have a little book here? Yeah. Let's just take a look at number 16. Ava, duplicity, deception, caution. Out of a jungle steps a woman, half of her body covered with exotic plants and flowers. A snake wriggles around her neck. The woman presents herself like a sweet fruit to be picked. She offers excitement and novelty. But be careful, her kiss could be as toxic as the bite of a snake. Like a deceitful friend or lover, her unreadable countenance masks her true intentions. That's interesting that came up next to the Seven of Swords. That's like leaving a relationship behind. So and you also roll Pluto, which has a lot to do with secrets, things kept in the dark. So if you feel it's kind of like this message coming through that there may be some truth not being told here. So keep an eye on that because you don't need that extra drama right now. So maybe just observe, okay? Observe, watch, see, take note, listen, and then decide what you need to do a little bit later. Stranded says, I'll just read it briefly, misdirection, misjudgment, fear of failure. The sailor stuck here. The card asks, how did the ship get there? This is such an unusual place for a seafaring vessel. At times we feel the same. We find ourselves in situations we can't quite understand. Sometimes we feel we made mistakes because our expectations are so high. We beat ourselves up. Failure is a necessary part of success, as important to the journey as a rudder on a ship. Okay, so if there's something going on here with a relationship that you feel that isn't quite being honest, or you feel like you made poor decisions, please be kind to yourself. Please observe, see what you need to know. And here's the Magician showing up again, which is also Scorpio. And as much as I view the Magician as a very positive card, the shadow side of the Magician is a trickster, okay? Is someone who's not being honest, someone who's pulling the wool over your eyes. So be aware of that, observe that. Where are you lying to yourself? Are you being lied to by others? The High Priestess energy there, you will be able to feel if something's off. You might not always know exactly what it is, but you can feel. So please sit with it. Please be kind to yourself. Be extra gentle to yourself. If you feel like something might be going on that isn't quite maybe honest here, wait a little bit till things calm down a little bit with all this Mars energy and Jupiter close, making it bigger. Let's not get into fights. Let's gather information, process it, and see where we're at in another week or so, okay? Let's see what we have here. Remember, the High Priestess is represented by the Black Widow. We have a marble here. I'm going to put it back in. It doesn't roll away. She's deadly. Let's not mess around here. Let's be careful how we use our energy. Aries energy, Mars and Aries can be very aggressive, but it can also get a lot of things done. It can be passionate, right? So let's choose that side of it. Okay, we've got Sagittarius up here that landed on the High Priestess, the Optimist. We have like a trombone or something. We have an Anchor here. Anchor came up last pile too. Getting really grounded. Walking outside barefoot. Getting out into nature. Letter M here. We have 2 circles connected here. And then this charm that has, and I believe this is, I can't really see it. I think it's the Mother Mary. And is that what it is? It's some saint. So he's here over the King of Cups. We have a music pick here over the Chariot, the letter S, and a bread tie. I've got the word fast and a button. Okay, so fast. Mars and Aries wants to move fast, but we need to slow down a little bit so that we make proper decisions, okay? We need to savor a little bit. We got the rolling pin here. We got it last pile too. A lot of Taurus energy. The moon's going to be in Cancer this week. It's a great time to spend some time in your kitchen. This is a great week to spend some time alone, to get clear, okay? To listen to your deeper voice, to listen to the voice of your ancestors, especially those women, okay, with the High Priestess there. We've got the letter A. And we got another little music pick down here. Sometimes I find a lot of messages come through in music, so pay attention to the songs that are playing in your head. Okay, let's. We did. Oh, I guess I'm giving you another self-care oracle. Oh, it's sing. We're just talking about songs, so sing, enjoy. Very healing. All right. What am I forgetting? I'm forgetting letters. Let's do some letters here, looking for names, looking for words, looking for initials. Let's see what we got. We've got an X, a C, an R, the word creed. I don't know, is that a word or is that a band? We're talking about music, so maybe there's a Creed song for you. I don't really know their music, but Pull, P-U-L-L. I have the word, what do I got? I got a lot of A's here, a lot of A's. And the word to, creed, pull, creed to pull. All these A's and X, and I'm gonna let you see what you can do with this. I'll take a picture, stay grounded. Enjoy, savor the little things, savor the food, savor the cooking, savor the experience. Slow it down, pay attention to the feelings that are coming in, pay attention to your dreams, see what's coming up. If you feel that there's things that you're not sure about, especially in a relationship right now, give it some time, ask for the information to be delivered to you, what you need to know, what's important. And I have a feeling it's going to be delivered to you through a song. So pay attention to the songs playing in your environment, the store, if a song pops in your head. Have a great week.